I'm in Panama City, Florida, McKenzie Park. Notice all these signs that say no, 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 no sleeping, no pets, no alcoholic beverages in the park and everything. But you'll notice that when the hottie toddies come down on their music nights, the cops can't find their alcoholic coolers, can they?
No.
Okay, what's your name?
Kenny.
Kenny what?
Smith.
All right, okay, you can use an alias if you want, I don't care. Okay, now you said that you was in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Okay. Tell me, what did you do in Iraq and Afghanistan? What was your specialty?
Snipering.
Snipering? Whoa! That takes a hell of a lot of training. You just can't get anybody to do snipering, can you?
Nope.
How?
$1.5 million bounty on my head.
How far away, Kenny, would you be able to take and do a bullseye on somebody?
1.5 miles.
A mile and a half? What is involved in being able to get an accurate shot at a mile and a half?
Rotation of the earth, perfect leverage, wind speed, earth rotation, gravity, and knowing what your gun can and can't do.
Okay, now let me ask you something. See, I've seen these shows on TV about snipering, where they talk about sometimes you might have to wait 24 hours. You might have to camouflage yourself in a bush. You might have to wear stuff that you look like a bush or something like that. Am I correct on that?
Yes,
you might have to be in the water snorkeling with a little straw or something like that where nobody sees you. Tell me some other things about that, Kenny.
All true. I spent a week and a half tracking Saddam Hussein. What's up?
Saddam Hussein?
No, not Saddam bin Laden, but Saddam Hussein. I had him in my sight. And every time I had him in my sight, I asked for a kill order, and they told me no.
And how long did it take for you to get Saddam Hussein into your sights? And what year was that?
Just a little bit after 9/11.
A little bit after 9/11. Okay, so what you're saying is there are a lot of things that you have to consider to set up that shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like in the movies where you're there for 15 minutes and next thing you know,
no,
you're killing somebody.
Nothing like it.
Okay, now, so you was in Iraq and Afghanistan, right?
Yes, sir.
How long was you there for each tour?
I was there a total of 9.5 tours.
9.5 tours? And, okay, 9.5 tours, was that something to where you were voluntary doing it, or is it something like you had to take orders?
I volunteered to go, but I still had to take orders.
I see what you're saying. And what branch was that you was in the military?
Marines.
Marines. Okay. What camp did you go to become a Marine? You know, to boot camp.
I went to Paris Island.
Paris Island. How long was that for?
6 months.
6 months of what, pure hell?
Yep.
And what you're talking about, they would condition you to become a POW, right? What kind of conditioning would they do to become a POW?
Water torture, electricity, chemical warfare, all the bells and whistles.
And would it finally get you to the point that you could become immune to pain?
Yes, sir.
Really? So is that something where they gradually do it to you and then up the torture a little bit more and a little bit more, and that gets to the point to where
They want to see where your snapping point is, your breaking point.
And I'm assuming, in other words, for you to become a sniper, you had to have a very, very high breaking point, because I'm assuming that there's a more reward on your head than anybody else in the military. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Kenny, how long you been in Panama City, Florida?
5.5 months, 6.
How many times you been thrown in jail?
Once.
And what was that for?
Domestic violence.
Okay, now, did the cop allow you to write down your side?
Nope.
Why not?
I wasn't there. I took off.
Okay, you took off. Was there visible marks on this person who claimed that you used domestic violence?
No, sir.
That's under 741 of the Florida statutes, because I was charged with that one time, and I beat the charge. Now, don't you think that if you put your life in danger to protect us Americans, don't you think the cops should also extend that to you?
They should, but they don't. This is Pay County.
But a lot of them were in the military before.
If you're homeless, they don't show you any mercy.
Now, let me ask you something. Over in Afghanistan and Iraq, what would they do to people if they were homeless? Would they take and throw them in jail?
Most likely not.
Don't you think it's kind of crazy that if you are not doing anything that is a clear, direct threat to anybody, and the cop ought to be able to process it in his mind that you are not a threat, why does he take away your freedom and put you in a place called the Bay County Jail?
Because that's his so-called authority.
Authority?
Anything which starts with a P. Police officers, politicians, presidents, all have that power. And they have absolute power corrupts absolute.
And how long, let me ask you something, Kenny, how long was you in the Bay County Jail?
3 days.
3 days. When they had you in there, did they process you through?
Yes.
Did they make you do counts on your bunk? How many times a day?
3 to 4 times a day.
Now let me ask you something. When they do that, do they allow you to sleep where they're counting you, or do they make you sit up on the on your bed?
They make you sit down on your bed.
That means you could be dog tired, and they will not let you sleep through it. You got to be on your bed, right? So what does that do to you? I'm assuming you was in, what dorm was you in?
I was in A4 or A1, something. I forget.
Was it a big dorm or small dorm?
They're all big dorms.
They're all big dorms. Way over 100 people, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's noise nonstop, 24 hours a day, right?
Yep.
So you get to the point to where you can't even, you gotta fall asleep, right? Now, so the cop did not allow you to write down your side of the story. Why not?
Because I wasn't there at the time when the charges were being pressed.
In other words, what you're saying is you figured I'd just get away from it, right? Okay, if you weren't there, then why would the cop believe them?
Because it's a woman.
Wait a minute. Isn't there something called equal rights?
Yep.
Does a woman get special rights compared to a man?
Apparently so.
So, in other words, she has no marks on her where she was hit. And then all she's got to do is say, you hit her. No marks whatsoever. No, nothing where he can take pictures or anything like that to show proof of injury, right?
Right.
So then what's to stop that woman from just saying, this person raped me?
Exactly.
So don't you think that a cop is supposed to get both sides of the story before he decides?
They're supposed to, but they don't always do that. This is Payne County. If they can make money off of it, that's what they're going to do.
Well, Kenny, my heart goes out for you. I never saw live action. I never had to kill people or anything like that. And then for you to come back into the United States and have it to where they treat you as cattle. I'm sure you've seen a lot of times the cops, what they'll do is they'll swarm McKenzie Park looking for a homeless, broken down person to throw in jail.
All the time.
So let me ask you something. Do the cops, are they required to kill their conscience or something?
I guess so.
Do they think that they will never be in that position themselves?
No, I don't think they do.
Okay. What things have you seen the cops throw homeless people in jail for?
Sleeping on the bench. Not having ID. Concealed or non-open alcoholic containers.
Open container. Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
They don't even have to be open. They'll throw you in jail because of this. No alcohol permitted in the park. It can't even be in a bag. It could be in a bag or whatever. Not open. Just because of this sign, they say you go to jail.
Oh, really? Well, let me ask you something. What about when they have their musical shindigs down here? What about when the couples come down with their wine coolers? Do they throw them people in jail?
Nope.
What about when they have the Oktoberfest? Do they throw them people in jail? What about the Crazy Fest? Do they throw them people in jail? You know they have alcohol. You know first of all, when you're going down the street, you're not in danger like somebody in the car. So why do they know you ain't allowed that, Kenny?
Because they're homeless. They get up there.
Homeless is actually a crime.
Being homeless is actually a crime.
I'll tell you what, Kenny. When I get 15, July 17, I'm going to be able to sell on YouTube. And I'm not going to let you, whatever it's to come back. Wondering why the hell did I put my life on the line when I'm a woman who's now in danger?